Hey guys, what's up? How are you guys doing? And this is Yubopers here. And today I'm going to show you guys my Sky Striker deck profile because Engage has caught me off guard and a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh community off guard, and Engage has now come off the ban list. Well, not completely come off the ban list, but it is limited. And the fact that Engage it has come off the list has gotten myself, a lot of YouTubers and the Yu-Gi-Oh community like completely off guard. Because the ban list as a whole, LP getting banned, Dryden getting banned, Joker going to 1, Mirage Dahlia going to 1, Striker Dragon going to 1, and Double Iris going to 2, and the Symbol of Heritage going to 3. All of that kind of makes sense. LP getting banned and the Dryden getting banned, it definitely makes the whole lot of sense. Because Dryden, as of recently, is banned in the OCG as well, so the TCG is playing a suit, and LP needed to go for a very, very, very long time, and the Double Iris, Electromite is still banned, so it's not as broken as before compared to like back in the day, and the Symbol of Heritage, that's a meme FTK enabler. Because Duloran is now once per turn, so the card can safely go to 3. But Engage, Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. This card, myself included, a bunch of YouTubers and the Yu-Gi-Oh community as a whole, it caught a lot of us off guard because we didn't see it coming. Like I said, all the cards except for Engage, it made sense. It kept the meta decks in check, but not Engage though. Engage is one hell of a card because it's a Rhoda, it's a part of greed, and not a hard once per turn on the card. So yeah, what can I say? Well, Engage is legal, so that makes a lot of Sky Striker players happy, myself included, because a lot of people I going to play Sky Strikers now because Sky Strikers has a huge fan base, and now that Engage is has become limited, a lot of Sky Striker players, they may come back and play the game again, or at the very least, lot of new or veteran players is gonna pick up the Sky Striker and try to play the deck as well, myself included. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, I'm going to showcase you my version for Sky Strikers. Okay, so for the monster lineup, it's 4 Ray, being 3 copies of Ray and the 1 copy of Rose. This guy is really good. I mean, it's basically serving as a 4 copy of Ray in the deck, but what this card does is that it's a free summon from your hand if you have another Sky Striker Ace monster, and then if your opponent's monster in the extra monster zone leaves the field cause of your Sky Striker card effect, while this is in your graveyard, you can summon it and then non-target negate one of your opponent's face that monster. So this card out Dragoons. I know Rose is good, but I wanna make this deck as consistently as possible. So that's why I'm only playing the 1 copy, because Rose, as good as it is, it's not Ray, because Ray can tag out herself to become any of the Sky Striker Link monsters, where Rose cannot. Basically, Rose is only here for the Dragoon out, or just technically a non-target monster negation is really good in general. Alright, now for hand traps, because Sky Striker is known for meaning a lot of hand traps, because you grind them out with your Sky Striker spell cards, and then try to outmanage your opponent's resources with hand traps. And my choice for hand traps in this deck is 3 copies of Ash. Now that Dragon Link being LP gone and Sky Striker has got to limited, this card is good versus Dragon Links again. In fact, this card is really good, not just versus Dragon Links. It's good versus like all across the board. In the mirror match, it's good. I mean, you can Suzuku their search during the end phase, so you can Ash that. It's good versus Daychans, I guess, because you can Ash the Ben 10, even though you do not really want to do that, because Ben 10 is not a once per turn on a spec, but the flexibility is there, because Ash is universally the best hand trap right now. I think now that the format has gotten slower, because of Konami decided to give us a list to keep the meta in check, being on Trobergezu and Dragon Links, and Ash is good versus all 2 of those decks across the board, as well as being the universally the best hand trap all across the board. 3 Effect Veiler, same reason. The format has gotten a little bit slower, so the Effect Veiler is getting good again. In fact, Veiler is really good right now, because unlike the ad, this is not a once per turn on it, and monster negation in general is really good right now. In fact, I'm playing more monster negations in the form of 3 infinite impermanence. So these 9 hand traps, they are really good right now, because they are basically, in my honest opinion, the universally the best hand trap to be played in the main deck, especially for Sky Strikers, in my honest opinion. And that's my personal take on it. So do not take my opinion for granted. I just like Imperm, Veiler, and Ash in this deck particularly, because Sky Strikers, especially the pure variant, is best known for maining hand traps going second, and the Imperm, the Veilers, and the Ash is how you do it to outgrind your opponent, while also outmanage your opponent's resources, and those hand traps is how you do them. Now for the Sky Striker magic cards, 2 copies of the Veil Spell. I was thinking about playing 3 copies of this card, but I want to make the deck as consistent as possible and the less more breaky. So I decided to play the 2 copy, and then if need be, you can terraforming it out if you open it, or engage it out if need be. But this is by far the worst Sky Striker card in the main deck, so that's why I'm only playing 2. 2 Shy Canyon on this card for sure. I thought about playing 3 copies of in the main deck, because this card is really good versus Daytron, because you just outmanage your opponent's resources versus the deck, because you can Shark Canyon their Ben 10 from the graveyard, so that they cannot loop them out, and then you can also banish a lot of key monsters like the Turban, like the Fafnir from the graveyard, so that they cannot use them again. And this is how you outmanage the Daytron matchup, and this is the card to do it. So debating about playing 3 Sharkinen in the main deck, but for now I am playing 2. Card's good in the mirror too, because you can outgrind the matchup by banishing their array. One jamming base and one afterburner for board clear, board removal, and if you have 3 spells, you get to pop 2. So this is here for board removal as being a utility card. One heart base to get your resources back in the main deck, so that you can use them again, and the ability to attack twice while also drawing a card while killing an opponent's monster is really neat as well. One ego booster to protect your monsters from hand traps or anything your opponent trying to do to hinder your play. At the end phase, if you open this or search it out of an engage or something, you can protect your Sujuku to get engaged if they try to add it at the end phase. So that's a really key play right there. One Honetron. This is by far the only Sky Striker card that cannot go back to more than one copy per in the main deck, because if this guy goes to multiple or even a 3, every deck will abuse it. That's why this guy got limited in the first place, because Drone is, out of all the Sky Striker, it is the most versatile and the most flexible one. One Montero, cause broken. It's a spell book of judgment for Sky Strikers. Activate spell as much as you want, and then during the end phase, depending on the number of Sky Striker cards that you activate, you get to use them again from the graveyard by setting them. So cards really dumb, and your opponent cannot interact with your plays either. 3 Widow Anchor. The fact that Sky Strikers have 3 copies of each, 3 copies of this on engage, and 3 Kagare along with the multi-roll is just insane. Like, Widow Anchor, in my personal opinion, it is my favorite and the best Sky Striker card. And the next card, Engage, is just there to search them all. Yeah, 1 card to search them all, or should I say 1 card to roll them all. And that card is none other than this card. Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. God, I never thought this card would come out of balance, because it's just that good of a card. It's a Rhoda and the Power of Greed, and not a hard one spell turn on the card, like whatsoever. So engage is engage, I guess. Not for the utility cards to further consistent to boost the consistency of the deck. The Foolish Burial good package in the form of these 3 cards. A lot of people tend to think that these 3 cards are technically bricks, but I don't really think so, because these 3 cards are, it's like the most fast, the most simple, and the most effective way to get 3 spells in the grave, and this is how you do it. And at the very worst, Metapulse Vision can act as a second obstacle in the deck, so you're technically playing 38. So yeah, the Goose package is really very good. Most people think they are breaky, they can be inconsistent, and I tend to agree with that. But I still think they are very good. They are decent to be playing the main deck, because I want to hit 3 spells as fast as possible while I'm playing this deck, and the Goose package is how you do it. 2 Cosmic to clear our back row. This card is really good in the mirror, because you can Cosmic their multi-rolls and the field spell away, so they cannot get the cards back. And this is how you outgrind the mirror match. Card is good versus solid matchup as well, because you can Cosmic their field spell and their back row, and most importantly the continuous spell card. I forgot the name of it. Oh yeah, the Wheel of the Silent Vanguard. the Soul Charge for Solomon Grade. That card, you can customize like that away. And overall, banishing back row is really key in this deck. Or to be fair, very good right now. Like the schisms. The broken one-ups in the form of Terra, Upstart, Rhoda, Beta Duster. Cards really good in the mirror match if they're particularly being greedy with the play they do with the multi-roll, because when you're going second and they're going first, if they're being like really greedy and try to set up for the really aggressive multi-roll play, in the end phase they get their Suzuki Search, they set that all the spells of all multi-roll, and then you just use Juster to clear all of them so that you can play the game safely. And he doesn't go to the graveyard, and it just gets, you get to like basically banish the entire back row. So cards really good. Call by the grave, because I do not like getting drilled or ash in this deck. And this is technically another 3 copies of hand trap in the main deck, and that is on Forbidden Droplet. I thought about playing more hand traps like the Drills or the Lancias or even Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good in this deck too, because it improves the deck's consistency, but the deck is already fast and consistent enough, and during the turn that you activate Prosperity, you cannot play Upstart, you do not get a draw of an engage, and also you don't get a draw of the meta fusion. And the draw, I mean, draw in the mirror match is cute and all, but it doesn't really like stop the matchup if you get drilled. And Lancia's not that Dragon Linked kinda got hinder with the LP and the Striker Dragon hit. It doesn't really hinder them as much. Sure, it's good presentation, but you can just Shark Cannon their cards instead. And these cards came to mind. The Forbidden Droplet. This is a hand trap and the utility card for this deck all in one card, because this card, like the Rose, it's a non-targeting monster negation card going second, and this card is also a utility card, like I said, because you can Forbidden Droplet your fill spell away, negate one of your opponent's monsters, and then you get to summon out Rose or Ray from the deck, because the fill spell, it got cleared away by the Droplet. So this is a hand trap and the utility card all in one card. So yeah, that is the main reason why I'm playing Droplets. And like I said, monster negation is really good right now, because the meta deck is kind of like being checked with the Dragon Link hit, and the format meta-wise, it's gotten a kind of diverse, because Solid might see some repetition, and then there's also the Sky Striker Mirror match popping here and there, and all of those matchups, monster negation is really key for you for winning those matchups. Okay, now for the extra deck. Field Center, broken. They're really consistent and broken cards. Token for the drone. 3 Kagari. Yeah, I know. 2 of them is Ultra, and one of them is Gold, and I cannot find the third Ultra for the life limit. So I'm showing you these 3 versions of Kagaris instead for the extra deck for this list. Kagari is by far my favorite Sky Striker Lake monster, because you get to play your cards twice in one turn basically. Engage Kagari, then activate engage again while searching to and drawing to is by far the most broken interaction that I ever seen myself play back in the day when this deck was at full power. Like that play is just insane. 3 Searcher Goo. Get engaged in the end phase with this card is pretty good. Searcher Goo is the most flexible Sky Striker Lake monster in my opinion, and a lot of people tend to agree. 3 Hayate card is really good right now, but compared to the Kagari and the Sujoku, this is the going second card, and going first, this card technically has no value, but going second, this card has a lot of value. When you're playing this deck, and then you will play to go into Hayate, do not go into this and then dump the engage straight away, because you're being way too greedy for going into play, and then it then gets like crowed or gets removed from the graveyard somehow. Well, you just lost your entire tempo. Dump something else, like a Shard Cannon or the Wind Ranker. Like just blind second, go into this and then dump on engage, and then if that engage gets removed, like I said, you just lost yourself a really big momentum in tempo. So do not do that. Don't be greedy. Play safe. Do not play aggro. Play safe. Be basic when playing this deck, especially when you have a Hayate play. One Zeke. Zeke is really good. It's not unlike the Kagari, the Suzuka, and the Hayate. It really technically doesn't search out anything from the deck, but this is the removal card, because this card has 2 effects where if this card is link summon, you get to target one of your opponent's monsters and then banish it onto the end of your opponent's next turn, and then you can boost this card up by sending one other card you control to the graveyard. So it's not as versatile, it's not as flexible compared to the other Sky Striker monsters, but this is a removal card, the banishing part. So that's why this card is being played. Ningirsu, I mean, non-targeting, non-destruction, monster removal is really good. The Hida causes really nuts in the mirror match, because you can Hida the Kagari, get back a card, and then link climb. Hockey Firebrax, this is only here to the Veiler from the deck, and then go into Celine, which becomes an access code. Okay, because that's a really good play right there. But a better play is if you don't want to commit your Veiler normal summon to go into Needle Fiber, go Celine, and then go into access code to pop your opponent's cards and then try to go per game. What you can do instead is you can, if you go second, you can make Kagari get back a card and then go Hida, and then but as the style I mentioned, you can Hida any of their monsters, go into Celine instead, because you can do that, because Hida is a spellcaster, and Celine it requires you to have a spellcaster as a link butcher to go into her, and Hida, like I said, is a spellcaster. So Hida plus a fire monster that you rehive with their own effect. It becomes this, which then rehives a Veiler from the graveyard, and then you can go into access codes without having to go into Needle Fiber. So yeah, that is the only reason why Hida is in the extra deck. This card, it can be something else, like a Phoenix, Unicorn, or a Kynar, or something, but I just don't like committing my normal summon on a Veiler to go into Summon and then go into access code. I just like making Hira better because this guy is nuts in the mirror match because you basically for the turn you're not using your own Kogari, you're using their Kogari to use your cards for the second time, and Hira is just nuts in the mirror match, and it can be using this for the link up, not just in this lane. You can like straight up go into access code as well easily without having to go into the lane. I'm just telling you that Hira bring back a fire monster from your opponent's grave, and then use those to use this and their monster that you just rehyped to go into the lane. That's a play you can do right there because Hira is a spellcaster, and Celine, Needle Fiber, and the access card for the play and combo that I just talked about. Okay, that is the extra deck and the main deck and the deck profile video for my Sky Strikers. Yeah, guys, Engage is back. It's going to be a fun format or a dark format. Who knows what this format is going to turn out to be? But I can guarantee you for a fact that this card is definitely going to do something. All it takes is having 3 spells in your graveyard, and then you or your opponent just slap this card on the table to change the game or the entire format as a whole. This card is gonna define and change the format in a whole new another level. Mark my words. And this is Evil signing out. Peace out, guys. Peace out.